Welcome to the Riddle School 2 developer commentary, in which I continue to make fun of myself. I noticed in the Riddle School 1 intro, the title was off-center to the right, and I'm not really sure why that is, but the Riddle School 2 title screen also has the title off to the right, and I'm not really sure why, but too late to change it now, even though it kind of bugs me. But I made this because I wanted to make a better game than the first. I remember learning how to blur backgrounds, and this was made before Flash 8, so I don't think that the software had its own blurring feature back when I made this, and so I had to use, I think, Fireworks, because I didn't have Photoshop. Unless I did use Photoshop and it was like a trial version or something, I have no idea. I seem to recall this room was originally going to be 2 screens, and instead of just clicking an arrow and then cutting to the next screen with the static effect, I was going to have it to where you moved the mouse and then the whole screen scrolled to the right, or something like that. But I didn't really know how to do that, and I thought it would have taken too much time and effort to do that, so I compromised by making the whole game widescreen so that I could make a wider room. And I guess that also helps make it seem bigger and better. I like this poster a lot. I think I drew the base sign backwards at first, and then I had to fix it, and then this grammatically incorrect sentence about how he has great English, the E's should be capitalized. I had to point that out in Riddle School 5 whenever I came back to this room, because it also bugged me, kind of like the title off-centeredness did. This is the I didn't trace drum set that confuses people. And I just wanted to point out that I didn't trace it because I was so proud of myself for drawing a drum set without tracing it. Phil plays the trombone. That's because I played the trombone in middle school, and Phil is basically a self-insert. He wears green, and my favorite color is green. He played the trombone, I played the trombone. His name is Phil, and Philip is my middle name. And he makes a lot of snarky comments all the time, which I also did, but I never got away with that in school. So Phil is kind of like the character that I wanted to be, because he makes snarky comments and escapes school and gets away with it. Also, there's this line that also kind of bugs me, like, isn't that interesting, she stopped at the letter Z. The whole joke is that Mrs. Sleep sleeps all the time, and whenever she wrote the alphabet, she stopped at Z, because Z is the sleepy letter. But it's also like, of course you stop at the letter Z. It's the last letter. You're not going to stop at any other letter. But whatever. I break for ducks, do you? People get confused about this, too. It's just random. There's no purpose to it. Bringing back the locker from the first game that has 2 slits in the top instead of 3. That's the only one that's openable, because it looks different. Use the slide oil to get the toilet paper, because that makes sense. The reason that the teacher's lounge looks like this is because there was one time whenever I got in trouble and had to sit in the teacher's lounge for a while, and it looked like this. Like, not a joke. It actually did have a bright, wallpaper and a couch that fit, and it just looked really nice. So, oh yeah, breaking the 4th wall for some reason. I mean, I think it makes more sense to break the 4th wall with this game now, because we know that this is all a dream, even though whenever I made this I didn't plan for it to be a dream. The puzzle with the teacher's lounge is just you go in, and then you leave. Walk to either the end of the hallway or into the bathroom, and then they're just in their rooms now. I think that's also something that I was planning for the first game. Like, I had this idea for you to enter the cafeteria, and then the cookie machine would be broken. And then you would leave, and then come back, and then there would be people working on it, and you would leave and come back again, and then it would be fixed. Even though that's not really a puzzle, that's just guesswork. I don't really like this puzzle very much, where you move the paper over, and then you unveil the quarter or whatever coin that is, and then steal it. Because you're clearly stealing money from Mr. Sum. He's not doing anything to you. Why are you stealing his money? On the plus side, I like tessellations. This is a tessellation poster, where the pluses are all lined up perfectly. I like the pie chart joke. Anyways, gonna give you toilet paper. There's a little animation mistake over here. Just with a random line that shows up. You're welcome. Rude. Now these sinks that are awesome because there's soap in the water that comes out of them, I think I only did that because I didn't feel like drawing hand soap. So it was just the easiest way to make it a sanitary classroom. Or not a classroom, a sanitary bathroom. I also seem to recall this map. I had a whole lot of ideas for... not a whole lot of ideas, I guess. I kept coming up with a lot of ideas that ended up being used, but then one idea that I thought about using for this game that I didn't use was this section of the map was going to be a basketball court, and you were going to go into the basketball court and it was going to be 2 screens, kind of like the band room was going to be 2 screens, and then on the left screen there was going to be a student who needs a basketball, and then you were going to find the basketball, I think, in the vent, which made less sense than toilet paper. You were going to give it to him, and then he was going to throw a hoop, or he was going to throw it at the hoop, and then from the hoop there was going to be a key that fell down, because I don't know why there was a key stuck to the hoop, but it just was, and it didn't make any sense. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't keep that idea, but it was sort of interesting, I guess. And here's the puzzle with the cookie machine. Plug it in. I think there's one key that or one coin that I'm missing, yep. Where is that one? Kind of forgetting. Oh yeah, I forgot to give this guy the mop. School's cheesy pencils. Don't you dare. This is an oddly fancy cookie machine. And then it just has no wrapper, which is something that people point out all the time. I just didn't think about the wrapper. It's not really that it was supposed to be a joke that it has no wrapper and it makes it less sanitary. I just forgot. I remember this cutscene running really slow the first time I played this game, and I didn't know how to make it go faster. But it's because the cutscenes are overlaid onto this, onto the actual rooms. They're not separate. They're not separate screens with their own animations. So that's why everything runs slower. And Mr. Mister. Mr. Mister is like one of my favorite names in this whole series. This little bit where he raises his eyebrows like 1 pixel. I'm keeping this. That's an inside joke. He raises his eyebrows like 1 pixel, and that's because I had an animation where he raises his eyebrows or his eyes all the way, but it didn't play for some reason, and I didn't know how to make that work. So it just moves forward 1 frame, but it works well enough. The key looks substantially less fancy in this version than in the first game. Whatever. I think that just made it easier to animate for this. The ending that I wanted for this game was the ending that Riddle School 3 ended up having. I was just too lazy to do it this time. So he just looks outside, smiles, but people think he looks angry. And then here's my credits sequence where I just say John Bro over and over again. I like the credits sequence though. It's fancy. Has lines and everything. Nice paper airplane. It's weird looking at the credits of these games again after so long and seeing how things have changed. Like, just in my life, how my friendships have changed over time. But there's Riddle School 2, I guess. Bye!